I'm here with Candie Cooper, and Candie, you're here to show us some really cool embossed leather cuffs, and we're actually going to make the cuff from like start to finish.
Start to finish. This is one of these techniques that I feel like could be super overwhelming, but it's actually really easy.
Okay, so
you ready?
I was going to say, where do we get started, and what do I need to do to my leather to emboss it?
Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is mist the leather a little bit with just water. And this is a special leather. It's called veg tan, like not vegan, but veg tan.
So because it's not made from animals or something, it's made from vegetables?
No, it's made from animals, but I don't. It's just untreated
tanned with a different process?
Yeah. It's just kind of.
By the
raw.
way, I noticed that I've used embossing folders before, and you were putting it in the weirdest way I've ever seen. Because I've always seen embossing folders fold over what they're embossing, and you're putting it in flat.
Totally. I opened it up, so I'm actually going to get a reverse and a
positive and a negative.
Thank you. Yeah. So, and I'm just cranking it through the old machine.
That's a really cool. I never thought of using an embossing folder not actually folded over.
Right, and check that out. Check the imprint. It's
that's a pretty amazingly deep imprint. I have to say, I want to run my hands all over it, but I'm trying to be polite and not. Okay, I'll do it just a little bit.
Feel it.
It's really cool.
It's like legit. Yeah.
So do you just let the leather dry at this point?
You can let it dry, or we're gonna keep moving.
Oh, so you don't have to worry about the embossing like coming out or anything?
Nope, not at all. We're gonna actually switch platforms, and now we're gonna cut our cuff shape. But those embossing folders are incredible. So I'm just putting the pretty side down on my die. This is a magnetic thing, so just remember, put your pretty side of your leather down.
Okay.
And then it's just like when you're making sugar cookies, you don't want to cut right out of the middle, because you can get a lot of mileage out of this piece of leather.
So that's why you're putting it over at the edge.
Yep, protective cutting pad on top. And now I'm just gonna roll it through, and then the pressure is gonna push down on the cutter. And voila, I have my cuff shape perfect.
Cool, so you made a little skinny cuff, but I noticed that you can actually make several different widths of cuffs.
Totally, and while we've got our cutting pad out, let's go ahead and cut some flowers and some embellishments. So
again, I see that you're putting the pretty side of the leather, meaning the non-nubby side of the leather down.
Yeah, and this is just like you can go to the craft store and get leather, or you can get scraps from a leather manufacturer. I was
gonna say, actually, what I found is like sometimes at vintage or thrift shops, old leather coats, old leather pants, like things that people don't want anymore. There's actually a ton of leather in them to cut up and use for stuff. Leather gloves, like all sorts of crazy stuff that you don't think about is wonderful found leather. I actually learned that from a doll maker who used to buy gloves by the barrel load from thrift stores.
I love the gloves idea, because there's some beautiful stitching on those gloves too.
And colors like purples and burgundies and just crazy colors.
Love it.
Like look at that red.
I know, I like pink. So now, and you can see, like, I mean, you can get any kind of pattern. If you don't like florals, don't worry. Like, that's using a 3D type embossing.
By the way, I noticed that the leather is darker in certain areas where it's been pushed down. Is that just the nature of like the way the light's reflecting? You haven't done anything to this, right?
I haven't done anything. That's just the nature of veg tan leather. Sorry to reach in front of you.
Oh, please.
Okay, so now I'm gonna put some gloves on. Will you hand me a sponge?
Yes.
And the blue leather dye. This is actually like a...
That's this one.
Yeah, this is a really cool just dye, and it's made for this veg tan leather.
And so that's a hard sponge, by the way. It's not wet or anything. It's like an out-of-the-package brand new sponge.
Right.
Because you don't want to add water to this, I'm assuming.
Nope, but you do want to add a generous amount of leather. I feel bad clearing or messing up your mat here.
I think it's meant to be used, right?
Okay. Yeah, I want everybody to...
Oh, so it's just like a dye that you scrub on.
Right. And
and you know what? Now I really see the positive and negative part.
Not anymore.
Oh, there you go. You just add a little bit more.
But I'm going to show you a trick, and I'm only going to you want to make sure that everything's nice and even, and then just do your other side. And then will you hand me that other dye bottle and a fresh sponge?
Yes.
And you guys, you want to do your edges too. You don't do all your edges. You can even, I don't usually do the back because I don't know, it just seems unnecessary to me.
This dye is not going to come off on your skin though if you did put it on the back or get it on the back or anything like that.
This is a true leather dye, but you would normally let that air dry. But I never do. And then these are really cool. They make these same dyes in metallics. So then you can go over and just massage this into your leather and wipe it off. And now I'm starting to see those textures. And don't freak out if it goes on like really dark, because it dries lighter. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
Like lots of pigments and stuff. It's like, because here's the finish.
I was going to say, the reason you would let it dry between coats is just so that you're not accidentally mixing those colors together, right?
Right. Here's the lid.
Thank you.
So now we're ready. I'm going to set that one aside to dry. But now we're ready to add some snaps.
I really see that metallic, by the way, sitting right in all those crevices. It looks really good.
It looks good, right? Can you bring in my snap tray, please? Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
Snap tray.
It's coming right up. So now we're going to punch a hole.
Okay.
Super easy. We're using a leather hole punch. And the thing of it is this has multiple hole sizes that you can use, but you want to match up the diameter of the hole size to the shaft on your snap piece. That'll make more sense in a second.
Because the fit you want is loose or snug?
Snug. You definitely want snuggy, because if the snap's wiggling around in there, it's just not going to hold nice. Now, I just sort of eyeballed mine, but you could totally mark the hole. So we're using these cute crystal.
Fancy.
That's what, little sparkle never hurt anybody. And the cool thing about stacking up our little flower die cut on is if it's a little crooked, who cares? You can't tell.
It's a great way of hiding it. I never thought of that. So it's decorative and sort of functional. I love techniques that allow me to hide my mistakes. I mean, my creative opportunities I've created.
Yeah, totally. So now the most confusing part about setting a snap is there's 4 parts to a snap. So I've got them all separated here. That's the first thing. Just separate them out into each part. And then I look at a pre-done cuff to remind me where things go. Then I'm using this little setting tool, and that's going right into the tube. And I'm gonna grab my heavy-duty hammer here. It's well loved.
So this is just like setting an eyelet, like we used to do like in scrapbooking and stuff like that, but sort of fancier.
You got it. And the thing of it is you gotta, I'm not hitting hard enough to roll this thing over, so get ready. But you gotta use a rubber pad underneath these decorative snaps. You can't put this on like metal or you're gonna bust the crystal.
Oh, I was just thinking, why wouldn't you use a heavy-duty bench block? But it's because of that bling, you need to be on a surface that has a little bit of give.
Yeah, and see, now I've got my first part done. So now you would just repeat for the other side using your remaining 2 snap parts.
Cool, and if we look at the finished one, I love how you've added some color with some sari silk.
Oh, I love it. So easy with hot glue. Just a dot of hot glue.
Quick and easy, and this clasp is totally different than the snap that we've been setting.
Yeah, just 2 jump rings and a pretty clasp. Done.
It makes it resizable for so many different wrists. Thanks
Absolutely.
so much, Candie.
Thank you.